Well, for more now, an analysis on what's believed to be the January 6th committee's final hearing, let's bring in ABC News contributors Sarah Ishgur, who is also a former Trump administration official, along with ABC News contributor and former Democratic senator for North Dakota, Heidi Heitkamp. Heidi, today's hearing expected to focus on former President Donald Trump's state of mind. Something we've been focused on for quite a while. There are no live witnesses today, but new witness testimony is expected. What are you looking out for from this last scheduled hearing? What do you want to hear?
Well, I've said all along that I don't think that they've made the direct connection between the people who fomented the violence on January 6th and the White House. And so I think the testimony regarding Roger Stone, what we're going to see in terms of who he was talking to, was he the connection between the White House and the president and the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys? We know that he was affiliated and associated with them. But I think if you're looking for criminal charges coming out of, I think, these hearings, I think that's going to be a very, very important connect. And so I'm looking to see what does the committee know about who the White House was talking to, and whoever they were talking to was talking to the people who literally led the violence on the insurrection.
Heidi, what do you think, though, the committee is going to need to prove in order to see any type of charges brought against the former president, specifically criminal charges?
I think the committee has created an expectation that there might be criminal charges. It's not up to the committee to file them. I think it's up to them to come up with enough evidence to really make the case to a grand jury, to make the case to a U.S. prosecutor, to the Department of Justice, that there was criminal intent, that there was knowledge, and that there was participation by this president. If you're going to indict this president, there was participation directly by this president to the groups that led the insurrection. And I think that's a high bar. And so, I've been waiting all along. The committee certainly has proven dereliction of duty. They certainly have proven that this is somebody who sat by, regardless of what he wants to say, watched television, and was almost gleeful that these people were taking his message to Capitol Hill by invading the Capitol. That gleefulness and that joy is not indictable. And so I think that what we're looking for today is the connect between his operatives, whether it's Roger Stone or Alex Jones or Colonel General Flynn. I hate to even call him General, Michael Flynn, to the White House. Was there a direct connect? And to me, if the committee today shows that, I think that there is a good chance that this president could be indicted for what happened on January 6th.
Sarah, what do you think? And what exactly does this committee need to prove if they want this entire investigation to end in their favor?
Well, Senator Heitkamp's exactly right. Certainly, the committee has shown dereliction of duty, all things that would have been very meaningful in an impeachment trial over in the Senate. But those dots connected to a criminal indictment, I frankly don't think we're particularly close when it comes to the bar that the Department of Justice would require the committee to send over evidence to meet. First of all, of course, you have the elements of the crime. Senator Heitkamp mentioned knowledge is not enough. You would also have to prove that he himself acted in furtherance of what was going on at the Capitol that day. But the department doesn't just indict people who meet the statutory definition. They also have to believe that they can get a conviction and that it's prudential to do so. I think that's why you're seeing so many more department resources go to these classified documents that were being held at Mar-a-Lago, the obstruction of justice related to that potentially, and very little that we're seeing from the department about January 6th.
So, Heidi, this new evidence from the Secret Service that apparently we're supposed to see, what could that bring about here?
Well, I think the Secret Service was the closest to the president, had direct knowledge and access to what the president was doing, depending upon how they react. I spent a lot of time with law enforcement as a former attorney general. A lot of times it's not always law enforcement related information that gets sent in text messages and emails. And so if there is, in fact, information that the Secret Service had, whether they were on the ground with Michael Pence or whether they were transporting the president to and from the rally site from Capitol Hill, they were going to have knowledge about who his conversations were with and what they were about. And it remains to be seen whether they relayed that knowledge of what the president was doing in their text messages and their emails. And so this, again, is a potential connect between the president and the people on the ground who were, in fact, promoting violence and who were, in fact, breaching the Capitol.
And Sarah, the Washington Post reported that an aide who works for Trump at Mar-a-Lago is now cooperating with investigators, reporting that the boxes were moved from the estate at Trump's direction, all these classified documents that were included. And that raises the question, if Trump was obstructing justice here. So could this be a detriment to the Trump team's defense?
Certainly, I think at the federal level, when we're talking about Trump's legal jeopardy, that is the closest that the Department of Justice, again, that we've seen their public moves in that obstruction of justice over the documents being held at Mar-a-Lago. Attorney General Garland has been pointed out by Franklin Foer in The Atlantic. He sort of is liberated by the fact that if he doesn't indict Donald Trump, he will hurt the institution of the Department of Justice, anger people on the left. If he does indict Donald Trump, he will hurt the institution of the Department of Justice and anger people on the right. And that can be a very liberating place to be at the Department of Justice, I can tell you from experience.
Indeed. All right, Sarah, Heidi, thank you both so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.